We got a lot of college kids here in the United States. There was a place called Amsterdam. You might have heard of a woman named Anne Frank. Not sure if woman is the right word for it. She never reached adulthood. Anne Frank isn't the only story of courage to come out of that area. There's the Belgian college students. They weren't busy running around beating up homeless people. Nothing like America. Nothing like Germany at the time, where, yeah, they'd beat you up. College kids, anybody. Especially if they thought you were Jewish or black, they could get away with it. It was state sanctioned. For Christ's fucking sake. Just like state sanctioned hatred towards minorities, immigrants, and the homeless here in the United States. We here in the United States are so indoctrinated with Nazism and the Nazi Party and all things Nazi that we forget the human cost. And that's what we're forgetting today. The human cost. The human cost of police getting away with doing whatever they want. The human cost of having all of this technology to help keep the police straight, and they won't use it. In Amsterdam, Nazis took over Belgium, and they told all the college students, every single one, you got two choices. You can sign this piece of paper that says that you agree with the Nazi Party. This piece of paper that'll, in our eyes, make everything legal. And if you don't sign this piece of paper, we're going to ship you off to a forced labor camp. Over 80% of Belgian college kids refused to sign that piece of paper. Yeah! And according to one of the shows I was watching, less than 12% ever returned. That's right. The cost of doing the right thing is very dangerous. It costs lives. These weren't soldiers who were being paid for this. These were human beings like you or I. In World War I, that's where Germany really started to get its manufacturing down, so that everybody was like, look at how great Germany is with all their wonderful machines, like the monocoque design of the Albatross, or the tri-wing design of the Fokker DR-1. That's what the Red Baron is famous for getting shot down in. Although he shot down most of his opponents in an Albatross D4. Anthony Fokker, he was Belgian. He wasn't German. And this is during World War I. Germany is still run by a fucking Kaiser. This is like the Emperor of Japan or the Queen of England. These people that are there by right of God or because they are God by right. Ah! Holy shit, that's some ignorance. But sure, let's go along with it. Might as well, right? It's already in place, right? Nothing else is going to work because we don't try anything else. Oh boy. So, we're not just looking at that. We're also looking at a lot of the things in World War II, same thing. A lot of their stuff came from Belgian, French, Yugoslavians even. Came from the Polish, came from the Czechs. Not very much of that German technology actually came from Germany. I do not recognize that number. I'll have to call it back. Oh, fuck it. We'll see who it is. Why is this thing not working? Hello?
Hello, Sean.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, this is just Phoebe with Region 1. How's it going?
I'm still breathing. I was waiting on you to call me back.
Yeah, I tried calling a couple times last week. Did you not get those calls?
I keep getting restricted calls. I do answer them though, hoping that it's you or one of these other places that I've called. But it usually just sits there and I get hung up on. A lot of those end up being threats and stuff like that too. So.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little congested today.
That's right. I was that way a couple days ago.
So I was going to call and touch base and tell you, see how you were doing.
I'm not doing too good. Without having a caseworker or anything, like basically I've just been nonstop railroaded. I'm having to deal with the same police officers. Some of the police officers here who did screwed up stuff were allowed to move on. A lot of the stuff they did to manipulate you is just to prevent me from turning in those officers. I got a question for you. You said the officers had claimed that I reached for their gun and was trying to suicide by cop. Was that through a phone call or can you identify the officer?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When you said that the officers told you that I had reached for their gun and tried to suicide by cop, can you identify which officer that was, or was that by telephone?
Sean, honestly, that was so long ago. I don't really remember. I know that I wrote, I wrote up an incident report with the sheriff's department there in Chapel. So you may be able to obtain a copy of that from them.
Well, a lot of that.
I don't know that I have a copy.
So you couldn't identify which officer that was?
I don't remember their names. I don't really interact with the deputies at the sheriff's department there in Chapel very often, so unfortunately I don't remember their name.
The sheriff here claimed that nothing like that ever happened. So I was wanting to get the specific officer's name so that I could actually pursue that officer and show that. But the other thing is, like, because it's been so long and because of all the cheap tricks that they've used to draw it out, I mean, this is well over 2 years after something should have been done already.
Now, are you trying to move forward with like a legal case against them or something? Is that what's going
on? They haven't stopped with the legal stuff against me. I mean, all of that stuff with me being abused up there in the jail in Scotts Bluff and all of the BS that they pulled up there, and then sending me back to that hospital where I had already been prevented from filing a report against them for what they had done. I mean, that was just a big major issue. Plus the fact that a lot of my stuff was returned to me broken. You said you took photocopies of a lot of that stuff, though, right?
I believe that we've scanned into the system all the papers and stuff that you had given me previously.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have them scanned in the system. Now, in regards to any legal proceedings that you would want to move forward with the sheriff's department, you know that that's not anything that I would be able to assist with, right? Like, they're not a legal professional.
You don't have to be a legal professional. You're a witness to the situation.
Okay. Well, and, I would have to be subpoenaed. I wouldn't be able to provide any reports or anything like that without a proper subpoena. That's just one of our like policies, I guess, is we're not. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a policy, so don't quote on that. But I believe that it is kind of a guideline that we're not really allowed to be involved in any like legal stuff. And it really where it was just kind of word of mouth anyway. Like this is what I was told. It would probably, you know, be along the lines of hearsay. But again, I'm not a legal professional, so I don't know, Sean. But I wanted to call and see how you were doing and see if you were still interested in services with us. I know we talked a while ago. We're still working from home. We will be until we won't be seeing anybody face to face until almost the end of July. But if you're interested, if you can give me a mailing address for you, I can get the admission paperwork sent out to you.
Yes, my mailing address is, do you have a pen handy?
I sure do.
All right. It's Sean Schwartz, SHAWN, SCHWARTZ, P.O. Box 123, Chapel, Nebraska 69129. A lot of the stuff, as far as that goes, I was sent to a lot of different places because you were supposed to be able to help me out with a lot of that stuff, and that's what I was told. When it comes around to it, it ended up just being a whole bunch of making phone calls and making more phone calls and making more phone calls. Right now, the situations that I have to deal with in court, they're all over that same situation with Natalie back in 2016, 2017, and 2018. And the police not investigating any of that stuff, not looking into any of that stuff. And it's been years later, like anytime somebody did something to me, they went out of their way not to look at it. But any time that I did something out of desperation, they'd break the law to try to prosecute me. And that's the thing, is that you and I know that Zoe, or not Zoe, but Tamara doesn't work there anymore, but Tamara was witness to that, and Nicole Peralta is a witness to a lot of that situation. And like with you, you didn't even get involved in the situation until after Natalie was already dead, and the police had already broken a lot of laws. And, you know, from all these people who I was told to call to get this kind of help, as soon as I call them, everybody is like, well, we don't do that. With a lot of the other predators who aren't police officers, I was told that by these places that are supposed to investigate those things, that they can't do anything about it because there's police involved. The stuff that the Chapel Police Department did, I mean, it's, you know, I'm glad that you acknowledge it, but there's also the fact, sorry, there's a train going by. It's the, sorry, I live right next to the tracks. But the thing is that none of these officers, after everything that I had gone through with them before Natalie was killed, and no point in time after Natalie was killed should I have ever had to deal with them. When you came down just a couple days before 4th of July, like I was literally trying to get you there so that I could file a report about the officers who were involved, including Cody Selhorst, Jared Hahn, and how they had treated me. And the fact that they were there just made it a so much more enhanced situation. I mean, I literally needed to speak to you because the people that were abusing me were the police.
Okay.
Everybody says that they're not lawyers and stuff. I don't care if people are lawyers or not. The fact is they're witnesses. You don't have to be a lawyer to be a witness. I don't know how to do that whole subpoena thing, but what the lawyers keep telling me.
Provide, like, there's no documentation for me to provide, Sean, and I'm not allowed to testify in court unless I am subpoenaed. So,
yeah, that's a lot of the problem that I have with going to a therapist, is that the help I need, I'm not receiving. What I'm basically doing is going to waste American taxpayer dollars to go to these places that don't have the services that they promise. I mean, Tamara was very good at her job, but she also knew about autism in a way that most people don't. She has a son who's autistic, and she was able to get a lot of this stuff on the road. But the other thing is, a lot of the stuff they've said in court, you personally know is slander. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they claimed where I wasn't making an effort, you were there for me making an effort. When my computer broke down, the very computer that I have now, like you were the one, you and Nicole Peralta, and using her office as a mailing address was the only reason I was able to get my computer back. And you're also a witness to the fact that I got the hard drive back fried and I had to start over from nothing. I mean, the thing is that a lot of the therapists that I've gone to and a lot of the professional agencies that I've gone to, from you to the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless, Jeff Ritter, Kara Heller, Nicole Peralta, and a lot of these other places, they all tell me the same thing. There's nothing I can do about court. There's nothing I can do about this. Fill out this paperwork and we'll, set you up with appointments. But then it doesn't register how much it's costing me in time and energy to go to those appointments. Meanwhile, the help that I still need, I'm not getting. With Nicole Peralta, she took a look at some of the information that I was trying to show you, and she thought it was, severe enough of a situation to go talk to the Sydney Police Department, but she hasn't gotten back to me about that, and she said they refused to investigate it there. No matter what, they continue to use this mentally ill thing to get away with breaking the law, and that's the reason that I went and reached out for help to begin with, is because of the abuse that I was enduring and the fact that law enforcement kept blowing me off and wouldn't do anything about it. And that started over a year before Natalie was killed. This is going on, over 3 years now.
Yeah. So here's what I can do regarding that. Once you reach all the other services, I knew it before then because it's not.
All right, you're talking too fast. You're talking way too fast. You are talking way too fast.
For all of your questions regarding that. Again, if they need some sort of testimony from me on any of this stuff, then they are more than welcome to subpoena me to appear.
Well, legal aid won't do that unless you guys write that stuff down. And in order to get you guys to write that down, I have to subpoena you, which means that I need a lawyer. But again, in order to get that lawyer, I need to get you guys to write that down. And I can't get you to write it down. Are you seeing how this is just one catch-22 and a whole bunch of them?
I'm more than willing to write you a letter stating that I'm not going to provide legal assistance, and that if you need any information from me that you need, I can write you a letter stating that. I can put it in plain writing. But I cannot assist you with your legal needs.
I'm not asking for legal assistance. I'm just asking for you to tell the truth. That's all I'm interested in. I don't need you to act as a lawyer. I don't need any of that. And this is probably the 5th time that I've said this in this phone call. That's not what I'm after at all. And bringing it back to that subject as if that's what I'm after. That's not what I need. You are a witness to situations, and that's what I need.
Any documentation with any statements, anything like that. I can't do that. What I can do is I can give you a letter stating that I'm not going to provide you any information unless I'm subpoenaed by an attorney.
All right.
That's the best that I can do on that front. But I want to be able to help you with your other needs as well. I mean, if you're needing assistance with housing, if you're needing assistance getting back into therapy, those kinds of things, those are things that I can help you with.
Yes, ma'am. I finally did get back into housing. That's one of the things, is that for trying to call you for the last 5 months, I finally got an autism advocate, but she's just a volunteer, does it in her spare time. She doesn't get paid for it, and I am a tough cookie to handle, especially after everything that I've been through. And every single place that I call telling me they can't do anything, I have to subpoena them. The lawyers are telling me that this is stuff that I have a right to because I am the client. And that's a lot of stuff that gets really complicated and is beyond my pay grade, and for certainly beyond your pay grade as well. But the fact is that I'm not asking you to act as a lawyer. I can't get a lawyer without your testimony. And a lot of that testimony should have come out years ago before everybody forgot details. I mean, those officers, when I called you down in 2018, it was specifically...
that would, like, I've had the one interaction with the Chapel Police Department when they called me. They asked me to go down there. They said, this is the situation. You've been driving up and down the street. Like you were spinning cookies and it's like, they called me and they asked me about all of this. They were telling me about all of this.
Well, at least they admitted that to you, because I had problems getting that to admit it.
Let me finish, please. So this is the only interaction that I had with them. I came in. You and I had a conversation. You expressed suicidal ideation, those types of things.
I told you that I had tried to kill myself a week earlier. I was trying to tell you about the situation with Cody Sellhorst, but you stopped me right there and told me that you were going to have me committed because I had attempted suicide a week earlier. Obviously, I was in the police department for a reason, and I had asked for you to be there for a reason. That reason was because I needed those police to actually do their jobs instead of blowing me off and threatening me and harassing me like they had for an entire week. I didn't call you down here to have me committed, and having me committed for going and trying to talk to the police over an incident that had happened a week earlier where the police officer was literally just sitting there. He was going to watch me kill myself, ma'am. He knew exactly what was going on, and he sat across the street, and they tried to intimidate me twice after that. And that's what I needed you there for, and that was extremely important, because at no point in time have I had anybody on my side to protect me from bad officers doing bad things and breaking the law and manipulating and twisting and contorting things to try to get others to do things that are against my best interest because they were manipulated. And you were one of those people who was manipulated. But the fact is, you were also there for a lot of those situations, and you can testify to the fact that I have been trying. I mean, I jumped through all those hoops. I went to all those meetings with you, and I went to all of those meetings with Nicole Peralta. The one that I missed is because I needed to get legal proceedings going against the police in Colorado and against the Bollinger family. And when I did that,
can I also be a part of this conversation? So I want to let you know that, like, I made it very clear that it is not within my capacity to have somebody committed, as you were calling it. When you had expressed the suicidal ideation, I said,
ma'am, I have been suicidal because of this. This is the point where you need to actually listen. It is the way that I have been treated by the police and by different places all across the United States for trying to get help that resulted in me not wanting to live. I need actual help. I need to be able to protect myself from these predators. And when officers don't do their job, I need to be protected when I go in and speak with them. And it actually needs to be recorded so that they can't lie and omit information and things of that nature. And I understand that the difference between your interaction with me and Tamara's interaction with me from the start was completely different, because Tamara understood and you don't. That's why I try to explain to you in a way that you can understand. But the thing is that all of this jumping around is harming me.
I understand what you were trying to tell me. I'm just trying to have a conversation